Hello, and welcome back to my photography channel. So it's been a while since I did my last video, which was about the Polaroid Now. And this was one of the reasons that I made this channel to begin with, to discuss and talk about some of the gear we all love using. So just a quick disclaimer or explanation before making this review. There are so many great technical reviews out there on YouTube already and on the internet for people to look up and search for. And I'm certainly not a very technical person at all, so my way of doing these kinds of reviews will be quite different, I think, and they will be based more on experience from using the item and also a little bit more of an emotional review. So with all that said, let's get down to business. What is it that I'm gonna review this time, you may ask? And this is actually not gonna be about one piece of gear, not one lens and not one camera. It's gonna be about 3 lenses, to be precise. And they share the same focal length, namely 58mm. And a quick introduction to those 3 magnificent lenses goes like this. The first one is the Nikkor Noct 58mm f1.2. The second lens is the Voigtlander 58mm f1.4 Nocton. And the third lens is the Nikon 58mm f1.4 G lens. You really can't go wrong with any of these lenses. They're all magnificent in their own right. But I think I'll start with my personal favorite, the Nikkor Noct 58mm f1.2. The Nikkor Noct, or Nocturne as it was called, is an AIS lens. It came in 1977 and it was made for nighttime photography and for nocturnal use in mind. It's built out of metal and it's got a very nice heft to it. It's a very well built lens in my opinion. It's got a close focus of 0.5 meters, it's got 9 aperture blades, it's got 7 elements in 6 groups, and it's got a multi-coated and hand-ground aspherical surface. And that is one of the reasons for its incredible performance. So I think that's enough technical details about this lens for now. Now I'm gonna try and share some of my opinions, some of the pros and cons, and some of my general feelings towards this lens, and why it became one of my favorite lenses ever to own. And while I do that, I will share some pictures with you, some of the pictures I took with this lens while I owned it. Enjoy. So first of all, I'm just gonna mention the build quality. Even though a lot of other Nikon lenses, especially the older ones, have a very nice build quality to them, I think this lens pretty much is, for me at least, top of that list when it comes to handling the focus ring and the aperture blades when you twist them, everything. It's just such a high quality lens. So another major point that might be a con for some people, but for me was a big pro, at least choosing this lens, is the bokeh or character of the lens. It's got a very unique look to it as well, and it can either be buttery smooth, like in some of the pictures, or it can get that swirly look that some other vintage lenses has as well, like the Zeiss Biotar 58 Geno lens, for example. Say the next thing for me is the versatility of this lens. With its 58mm focal length, it can take some great environmental portraits, for example. And also the f1.2 aperture makes you be able to take photographs almost at night and late evenings, which makes it very handy to have in a lot of different situations. But then again, the 58 focal length might be a con for other people, as they either want to go longer and take portraits with a longer lens, or either go wider with a wider length. So you end up somewhere in between, But for me that's perfect. I like to be able to have a lens that you can use both as portrait lens and more as a sort of normal lens to walk around with as well, which makes the Noct a perfect example for that. So besides those few cons I will tell a little bit more in detail later on. The Nikkor Noct 58mm was a perfect all-purpose lens for me to take on family outings, just to stop sometimes and take a wonderful portrait with a bouquet that it gives, or just shoot some documentary style photos in the environment that my kids played in, for example. So to those few quite obvious cons that this lens have, to be honest. For me, I mean, searching for this lens, you pretty much know what the cons are right away. And one, maybe the big elephant in the room, is the price. It's a very, very expensive lens, and most people searching for this lens know about that in beforehand. It commands a hefty price tag of around 2,000 euros and up on eBay, and yeah, that's what you have to pay for this lens. I think with today's increase in popularity when it comes to film photography and so on, it might be even higher. I was in a way lucky when I got this lens, because I got it from an older lady that auctioned it out on an auction site here in Sweden for not that bad of a price, to be honest, if you compare it to the eBay prices that it commands now. She got it from a relative that passed away and wasn't really aware of the real price of this lens or what it meant. But at the same time, as well as with Leica lenses and Leica cameras, things well made and that are unique and special won't drop in price, and that's the same with this lens. So people buying it can be rest assured that this won't drop in price, but probably instead increase in price over the years. So that's a very nice pro at the same time, I think. So we're getting near the end of this review of the Nikkor Noct, and I think some closing words are in order. It's a lens I will surely miss, and yes, I did sell it in the end. But not because I did not like it, not at all. It is and probably will be one of my favorite lenses to date. But I just couldn't justify having a lens that was worth that much, and then I was too scared to use it as much as I wanted to. But would I recommend this lens to anyone else, even though it was that expensive? Yes I would. At least to be able to shoot with this legendary lens at least once in your lifetime. And of course you can always sell it again and get the money back.